Hi, everyone. Good morning. Normally, we are live in the evening. Hello, hello. But we are going live right now. Hi, Kiandia. You'll let a few more people in, and I will let you in. We are excited about today. You guys are in for a treat. We have been putting this together for some time now, and her and I have definitely, okay, I'm gonna let you in. Her and I have definitely talked about this again for a while. So, all right. Let's see. Hello. Hey.
Hey.
Oh, I love the scenery. It's beautiful.
Right?
That is gorgeous. Oh my goodness. And you look
Yes.
gorgeous too, honey.
Thank you. Thank
Yes. I'm gonna turn on
you.
my volume real quick. I thought I
That's
had
all
it
right.
off. Okay. Hello, hello, everyone that is in the room. In the room.
Hi.
To be able to see. Okay, there we go. All right. So, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm well rested. Like I talked about before, I'm fresh off of a work trip coming from London, and
Mm-hmm.
I am now upstate New York in this amazing chalet
Mm,
and stuff for our like annual Friendsgiving and stuff with me and my
yeah,
three of my homegirls. So super excited about that.
that is
Yeah.
awesome. That
Yeah,
is awesome.
man.
And I know, before we get started, we just want to check in with everyone because
Mm.
this week was a week.
Yes, it
We've
was.
had some weeks, but y'all, this week was a week.
Hmm.
The verdict coming out yesterday, and with Julius Jones not being executed but still being in prison, happened this week. And we just want to check in. How's everybody doing?
Right.
How's everybody feeling? I know
Mm.
for me it's heavy. It's just heavy.
Same.
My family is black and I am black. And I have nephews. I have a son. I have a husband.
Hmm.
Keke has a father. Now we have fathers. She's
Hmm.
also an auntie. She's
Hmm.
also a sister. We both have brothers.
Hmm.
So when things like this happen, it really hits home. And I know people are thinking, well, it didn't happen in y'all's house. Well, no, but it really did. You know what I mean? Like if
Mm.
it happened in our community, then it happened to us. So,
And
um, mhm.
not to cut you off,
No,
but
go ahead.
what what I can't stop thinking about is the fact that I don't know about you, but I know for me and like my brother and my male cousins
Mm-hmm.
have
Yeah.
gone through some type of, racial basically indiscretion and stuff,
Yeah.
in their lives. And,
Mm-hmm.
they've been lucky to still be alive and come out on the other side of that. And
Yeah.
we know there's even some that you and I even personally know that hasn't been the case. So whether it happened directly in your home,
Yeah.
it still hits the same because we've all known someone close to us that has gone through something like this.
Exactly.
So it's very unfortunate, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's so much to unpack.
It is a
So much
lot.
to unpack.
That's another live, I think, for another
Oh,
day.
girl.
But I did want to check in, with
Yeah,
you, with everyone on the live because we're not sweeping this under the rug.
that's right.
We're still I'm still processing. I know we are still processing this.
Same.
So take heed, and I hope that we can bring some light to this week. Bring a
Hmm.
great conversation. Just bring you just what you need. Be interactive. And you can chime in the text. We'll try to go back if we miss you, but
Right.
we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, Keith?
Yes, let's do
Okay.
it. Let's do it.
So this next guest, and I'm going to read basically what I put in my profile without crying again. This next guest has been my friend and my best friend since the second grade in Miss Wilfox class. I honestly don't even remember when we met. I just remember us being in the class together. Like, I don't remember the day. You know what I mean?
Me neither.
Yeah, it was just
Yeah,
like you were
but
there, I
I
was
do.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we've been inseparable ever since. And
Ever
even
since.
yeah, I'll let you go ahead and finish because girl,
Okay.
this has been
Okay.
so long.
A long time.
Yeah.
We have laughed together like we're doing right now. We've cried together. I know that growth happens. Thank God I've gotten on her everlasting nerves. Praise God, she's still my friend. What I loved and still love about her is that even though we've always had different friend groups, we've always been there for each other, like no matter what. We can always call on each other. We don't get to talk every day or sometimes every week or every month, but when we do, we catch up. We
Yes.
are, we're it's just life, right? It happens.
Right.
um okay, where was I? Okay, as adults we have adult convos about working out, traveling, therapy, and especially working in corporate America, and the challenges we have navigating as being the only one, only Black on our
That's
team.
right.
And for Keke,
Mm-hmm.
majority of the time or every time being the only Black female on her team, due to working in a male-dominated industry such as tech. So, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you my sister, my best friend, my ride or die, my cheerleader, Keondia Woods.
Hey y'all. Hey, hey.
So, Keondia, we want to, and I have to call you Keke. Is that okay?
Of course. Of
Okay.
course.
Because I'm like, I know your
Girl, we
name.
sisters, you know how that go.
Exactly, exactly. So before we get on the topic of natural girls and tech, I do want you to talk a little bit about your company, if you want to share
Yes.
a little bit about Honey Butter and anything you want to share about that.
Oh, sure. So, hi, as Shayla introduced me, my name is Keondia Woods, and those who are near and dear to my heart call me Keke, and I am the founder and CEO of Honey Butter, which is a beauty marketplace app with a social interaction that's set to launch in March of next year. So, essentially, on all these apps, like the apps we're on now, I got tired of not seeing my people, her people in underserved communities not have real representation in the beauty industry.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as we all know, and stuff on all these big major platforms and stuff, they're essentially like we're not being paid, for what we bring to the space. And I feel like, even on apps like Instagram and Facebook, et cetera, it's a very clunky shopping experience as well. So I kind of wanted to remove that and create a platform where we're all welcome.
Mm-hmm.
We've come a long way within beauty, but I feel like we still have a long way to go.
Yeah.
Not all of us are one size fits all. And, for me, in order to have a successful product or to have customers and stuff in this space, there needs to be real representation. And there's just
Yeah.
still lacking that. We're all
I agree.
filtered under this algorithm and stuff, being told, what to do
Yeah.
and stuff of what a true image of beauty is, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
as we all know, especially as Black women, how hard is it for
Mm-hmm.
us to find products and stuff sometimes depending on where we're located,
Yeah.
around the world and stuff like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's necessary to create something, a space like that. And, I joke about it, but I mean it very seriously. Like, I'm really trying to be the next Jeff Bezos of beauty. No lie here.
You will be.
Um,
Yeah, you will be. We heard
so
it
like,
here, guys. We heard it here.
so like it's, and, because even on these platforms, I feel like when we do host our services and our products, we're still not being represented or we're not being paid fairly.
Right.
Um, and there needs to be separation with that. And
Mm-hmm.
I take pride in accessibility as well. So like
Mm-hmm.
for me, it's like if someone who has maybe a visual disability or someone who is not quick or accepting the tech, there needs to be a
Yeah.
platform that not only looks amazing aesthetically, but easy for
Mm-hmm.
users to use and shop.
Exactly.
And the most important piece is create this whole sense of community.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
I unfortunately get very frustrated when I'm going into shops and stores when I'm buying beauty or hair products, and being followed around the store when 99% of the products that you sell are catered to people like me.
Exactly.
Right?
Say
Doesn't make
that.
any
Yeah,
sense.
it doesn't.
And I wanted to create a platform where we basically start creating real ownership in the game,
That's
because we've
good.
been here. It's
Yeah.
ours. We don't
Yep.
need anyone to come and basically infiltrate our space, and we need to
Exactly.
own that. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's so many amazing things coming with it that I've been working on. This has actually been something in the making for like the last 3 years. I have an amazing, and when I say amazing, development team, they're actually based out in Africa. They're based
Mm-hmm.
out all over Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, Uganda, even, that
Yeah.
have come together to basically create this amazing app. And when I tell you, I cannot wait to share it with you guys, like the levels this hits. Because, even, when I was out looking for development for the app, right? My whole thing is, when it comes to anyone working on a product, you have to understand what the voice is and what the
Mm-hmm.
vision, and you
Yeah,
have to treat it like it's your baby, as if
absolutely.
the same as I am, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
could have went with any dev team. I talked from people from all over the world to do this,
Mm-hmm.
and I got a referral. Shout out to Founders Gym, who put me on. I was in one of their cohorts. I was in cohort 13, but shout out to them for like referring me
Mm-hmm.
to the same designers who redid my branding, who happened to be a woman of color,
Mm-hmm.
amazing, uh, who also introduced me to my dev team. And I, it's so amazing that I can honestly say that almost the entire process of doing this have been people of color and people in underrepresented communities.
Exactly.
So I cannot wait to share it with you guys like next year, and just, as the saying goes, like, watch me work.
That's right. That's right. And the thing is, with you, Keke, I feel like it's just in your blood, it's in your nature. From the
Mm.
time we were young, I remember you having a Macintosh computer and me coming over
Actually,
to
no,
your
no, no. It was a Hewlett Packard.
a
No, no,
Hewlett
no. Wait, wait.
Packard.
Let me back
You
up.
had
Wait.
Gateway, right? Did you have Gateway
Yeah,
or something?
I did, because I'm telling you, I
Okay.
ain't sure. Well, I
Yeah.
had a gateway computer. That is
Yes.
correct. Very true.
Yes, and you had dial up. You were the first
Yep.
one who had dial up internet. So we would go to your house. I mean, she knew everything, everything about computers. I mean, from a very young age, and even with beauty, like you were the one who was started to do makeup early, who did the fashion. Like we would go to the mall, and you were always into fashion. So I just feel like this is definitely something that has been it's a gift of yours, and it's been
Mm.
it's in your DNA, it's in your blood to do something like this, and I'm so excited for this app to come out and for the world to see.
Mm.
I'm so excited.
I appreciate you so much, because,
Girl.
it takes people who are really close to you, who really love and care about you, to kind of remind you of
Mm-hmm.
things. Because when you've been in this industry as long as I have, in tech, and like you mentioned, even from like a very young age, it's
Mm-hmm.
very hard to find representation. It's
Yeah.
very hard to kind of navigate through the world of fulfilling your wants and dreams, and often at times being discouraged.
Yeah.
And the main reason of that, which no one ever really wants to talk about, is white supremacy.
Yep.
Plain and simple.
Yeah.
I don't really care how,
Mm-hmm.
all the things. Yes,
Say it.
I've been in situations where I've been the only woman in the company too. It's been a
Mm-hmm.
small company, but been the only, when I worked in digital signage. I was the only
Wow.
woman, and I was the only woman of color, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All these things. But the reason why, for example, like the dropout rate,
Mm-hmm.
and for college, for students or people of color in the computer science, is because of that reason. I remember
Mm-hmm.
being in class and no one wanted to work on projects with me. I remember having like my male counterparts tell me that I was too cute to be in this industry. And I
Mm.
was just like, how does
Yeah.
that
How
even
dare
make
you?
sense? How does that even
Yeah.
come,
How
how,
does it commute?
like a better term, how does it compute? Right, exactly.
Right.
Like, it doesn't, I don't understand. It doesn't make sense. And,
Yeah.
I, I will say I've been very fortunate to have a close sense of community of people that I personally know that have been in this industry.
Mm.
Riri and Terry, I
Yeah.
grew up with, who
Yeah.
are just amazing women. These are my hidden
Mhm.
figures. You know
Yes,
what I mean? Like,
yes,
women
yeah.
in the industry really killing it, and who really just
Mhm.
like you know, because I was a late bloomer with college. You know, I started college late and stuff like that. And who basically pushed me and was like, no, you should be doing this. Who I had my aunt and like my mom, the twins and stuff, like pushed me and knew that it was my calling. And my cousin Chuck, and who's doing amazing things in California and Disney and all types of stuff. Like, but I really do think in my heart I would have found my way, because the one thing I could definitely say about myself is that anything that I felt that was conforming or being too by the book, it feels like an acrylic sweater to me. It's itchy and I don't want any part of it. I want to remove myself from it.
Right.
So like, I think I've been very blessed and fortunate to have like a sense of community that pushed me along the way. However, knowing me today and this time, like, I would have pushed through. Yes. For sure.
And is that how you got into the tech industry? Because Riri and Terry were really pushing you into your gifting, into your calling, really?
I would say, but I also would say, because I moved to New York real young. I moved to New York when I was 19. And knowing that I've been exposed to tech for a very long time, most, my life, there's something so empowering about doing something that's not expected of you. For me, it's kind of like a rush in a way. I can't, it's hard to explain of like, I love challenges, put it like that. And it was something challenging, but something so rewarding. And when you found there were so many amazing things that were in the things, like, for example, our phones, to me basically turning on a thermostat, to me basically cranking up my car, all these things, these underlying things that make these our everyday things that we use work. I'm very fascinated by that. Taking apart a computer and stuff and reassembling it and like fixing parts and stuff. Or just even when my friends call me and ask me random questions, I'll be like, girl, you don't know about your phones already, about to explain this stuff. But at the same time, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so empowering to know that there's not other people that they'd rather come and ask this information from but me. So it's and be able to give it back too. And, when I go and stuff, we haven't in a while because, COVID and everything. But when I used to, a couple years ago, like volunteer for even Black Girls Code, like just to have real representation of like young girls who look like me saying like, oh, this girl's actually showing me how to build this game or learn about these things in tech. And like, this is going to change their lives from forever, knowing that they have someone that looks like us that is in the space. So you're right. I think I would have ended up here regardless. I really do think that 1,000%.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. So, now, there are aspects about technical careers that are available, but not limited to coding, cybersecurity, software engineering, database programming, computer programming, and more. I know I'm leaving a lot out because there's so much when it comes to tech. How would you encourage Black and brown girls to follow their passions? Because I know you just said you work with Black Girls Code. How would you encourage them, beyond what they're doing within that program even?
I would say there's so many different levels and paths to take. I would say whatever you feel comfortable in, take it. And it doesn't have to be what everyone else is doing. The space is so large that any of us can find a place where it works for us. And that's why like organizations like Black Girls Code and stuff are so important, because they help you basically expose you to that. So they show you or help you find ways of what will basically work for you or what you would like to do. And I can honestly say like today in today's like technology and stuff, it's a lot more accessible than it was when you and I was coming up. Right.
I agree.
So
absolutely.
I think there needs to be more people like me in the space talking, because I find that men in the space, especially cisgender men, pretty much, everyday men, white males, for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't know how to discuss it where it's relatable of what you're doing. We have this like technical brain, right? And this knowledge of like what we're doing and all this other stuff. And I feel like a lot of men have a hard time explaining or explaining it to the way where it transcends for someone to understand. That's part of what I do on my 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So like I am also a director of customer support for a crypto company, a blockchain company. And I basically came in pretty much like, hey, like, I need you to remove the technical brain out of this and make the information transcend to the client, because they don't really care what technology you have, or like, you know, and it's an ego thing you have to remove too, which a lot of men unfortunately just can't do. So like for me, like me being in this space too is kind of like a blessing when they see me, because it's just like, yeah, but she's someone who knows how to basically, when they're explaining something about a product or a service or whatever the case is, she knows how to make it transcend to the customer. Yes. So I've gone, you know, pivoting back to your initial question, that's why there needs to be more of us speaking up. Yes. Because we're going to be able to talk to people who are interested in the space, especially women, to make it relatable, so they know that the things that they're doing on the day-to-day basis is not that challenging. Right. And you can still find a way in the game where you could basically find, how can I say this? Find ways basically to get into this career, right? So like, I know I'm saying a lot, but like,
no, it's good.
Yeah, you know, but it's necessary for us to speak up more, because we're not going to discourage them. And I really feel like, you know, men for a lot of reasons in this field talk that way for a reason to kind of discourage you. So like there needs to be more women in the space speaking up to let them know, like, no, we're going to show you how really easy it is to get to get into this. Exactly. And finding a way that you can excel in it at the same time. So yeah, it's necessary.
And I love the fact that you're creating this platform to even create more jobs, you know, because that is so important. Like you said, your dev team is of color, you know, your development team is of color. So praise God for that, you know, working with Black owned companies, you know, that's very near and dear to my heart, you know, because, you know, I come from, my grandmother was an entrepreneur, my cousin's an entrepreneur, you know, so it's just like I come from that. So I always want to give back to that, you know, to
absolutely,
you know, Black female run industry. So thank you for the work that you're doing.
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely.
So, okay, we're going to get into a little bit of what you were just discussing about being in a male dominated industry and having to have those differences, bringing in your sauce, your flavor into the company. So what discriminations have you felt, whether it be gender discrimination, hair discrimination, so what discriminations have you felt within the industry that you would want to share?
Girl, take your pick. All of them.
Yeah.
The first startup I ever worked for was a smart remote company. And they have since dissolved from years ago. No secret as to why, because we'll unpack that later. Okay. But I'll never forget when they first met me, I had twist braids. And I came in with my natural hair one day. It was a Monday. And then took the braids out and then washed it, did all the deep conditioning. It's all beautified because our hair is beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I then walked in, and this woman that worked there that was on the product team, she was like, oh my God, your hair. Which is, to me, is always a red flag, right? Because like my hair is what?
Right.
Like, right, you know what I mean? Like, exactly. Do you like it or not? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing here? So, like, she goes to try to touch my hair. And I was like, pause. Like, no, we're not doing that. And, like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't do that. But it was just like, you know, it just looks so spot, and that's fine. I don't want you touching my hair. Period. That's it. Plain and simple, right? Oh. I would say I've gone through sexual harassment as well on the job. Girl, what I tell you, girl, we could spend hours on this.
That's
We
fine. Go
could we could
ahead.
spend hours on this. And
Yeah.
racism as well. So like one
Mm-hmm.
of the companies that I worked for a couple years ago, again, because of me having a sense of class, I won't blow them up, but they should
Right.
be. But
Yeah.
essentially, Trump had got elected. I'll never forget this. And when I tell you the CEO and founder did a completely 180 as to how he treated me, being the only woman there too,
Yeah.
made it really hard. I didn't really have any allies. Allies. The one ally that I had, I should have paid attention to him because it was writing on the wall. Because
Mm,
he
yeah.
was like my mentor, and they pretty much did some shady things to him, and he was just like, I'm out. Basically left for like one of their competitors and stuff. But I felt very isolated when he was gone. Because if anyone who advocated for me, who knew that I had the potential to grow and do amazing things at his company, he was gone. And when Trump got reelected, like I started finding out a lot of like very tasteless things happening there. Like pretty much he was showing up at Trump dinners and stuff, like donating, and certain things like certain projects that I would normally work on, they wouldn't let me and try to basically dwindle down my role. And I will never forget this when they laid me off. They laid me off on Martin Luther King Day.
Wow.
I can't make this up, man. This is not.
Girl.
Why would I lie? There's no
Right.
reason
I
for that.
know.
But it hit different. It hit
Yeah.
different. You know what I mean? Like, first off, I'm working on MLK Day. Who does that?
Right. Okay.
Right? Like,
Who?
and
What
when I tell
offices
you
are
never
open?
again,
Okay.
never again,
Yeah.
girl. And like, two, just the way, like, walking into that room and just them making sure that there was no one else in the bill or in the office but me and two
Yeah.
other managers when they did it, and had no reason as to why they did it. And I can honestly say, like, it took therapy, it took a good sense of community, because I like PTSD is not something just related to like being in the military.
Not at
As
all.
Black people, we're born into PTSD,
Yeah.
right?
Unfortunately.
So it took a lot for me to unpack these traumas in the career, but I still knew it was a place for me to be here,
Yeah.
regardless. Like, I'm gonna go through all this trauma and stuff, granted, and all
Mm-hmm.
the hiccups and the hurdles, but there was still a place for me here because I needed to persevere, because somebody else is gonna come in after me, and they're gonna know that it's possible.
And is
But
that your
yeah,
drive? Is that your drive? Like what
one
keeps you
thousand
going?
percent,
Because
one
you did
thousand
face
percent.
so much.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, and to be completely transparent, like I came in
Mm-hmm.
very non-conventional in this career, like most people,
Mm-hmm.
because when you're a late bloomer, you're kind of a little bit ahead of the game, in my opinion. So,
Yeah.
I started college, for community college at that, when I was 25. Most people start when they're 17, 18 years old, or
Right.
16, depending on where you live.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew when I started what I was going to do. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so for me, I think I saved myself a lot of time and money on top of that, right?
Right. Yeah.
Think about it. And
Yeah.
I got my associates from a
Mm-hmm.
community college in computer science,
Yep.
and networked when I was in, because like
Mm-hmm.
for community college, and I don't understand why community college gets such a bad rap, but I was in
Yeah.
classes. I had to take evening classes because I worked full time during the day. I had to pay rent
Yep.
bills, right?
Yep.
But when you're taking evening classes, you're sitting with students that are A, in your age group for the most
Mm-hmm.
part, and B, let's say, for example, they're going for a position in their company, and
Mm-hmm.
their job is like, hey, take this course for
Got it.
this semester so we can promote
Mm-hmm.
you to this next position. So
Yeah.
I was able to network and meet like a lot of people in the same, kind of doing the same thing I'm doing,
Yeah.
right? And I
Yeah.
was able to network and stuff with my database instructor. Database um, is like, basically, think of like, how can I say this? Essentially, what it is, like,
Mm-hmm.
let's say, for example, you are logging into a database that holds your company directory of
Yep.
all the list of names and people and departments. Essentially, learning how to program that on the back end is what the class entailed.
I see.
And my professor happened to be a Caribbean man of color,
Mm-hmm.
a Black man teaching that class. And like, he knew we latched on to each other, and he helped me get my first internship, and pretty much the rest was history. And we talk to this day because I always have to catch him up on like what I've been doing and stuff. We were actually, you know, life happens and stuff. We've been trying to meet for dinner and stuff, and been busy and stuff. You know, he has wife, kids, all the things and stuff. But I always tell him like it's because of you, you know, aligning yourself with me, seeing that, hey, we've been in this together, in this path before, knowing that you've been in the path before, and like helping me along the way. And I always tell him like, I will never forget that, and just always been grateful. So anytime I get a new job or a new something comes up and stuff in my career, whatever the case is, he's always one of the first to know, because I owe a lot of my success to him, for sure. His name is Professor Benjamin. Such an amazing guy. So awesome.
It's such a blessing to have somebody in your corner when you are facing these adversities, because it does help you to keep pushing forward. Like, you know what? Somebody's for me. I can keep pushing. You know, I can keep going regardless, because we as Black women we face so much, you know, in corporate America, and we always have to have, you know, that person or those people to say, you know what, you can keep doing this. First of all, we need to pay. Okay, bills need to still be paid.
Pretty much, yeah.
But we still have to have an outlet, you know, because it's still a world, as we have seen this week. It's still a world where we're just trying to survive in. You know, we're trying to make our way, make our place, and make our presence known.
That's right.
And you shared with me a story, and I saw it on Instagram too, that when you were in London, do you want to talk about that?
Ooh, girl. It's just the gift that keep on giving, don't it? So,
overseas. I mean, you don't even have to be in America, you know.
It's the socks that, or like, what's that, the Christmas Story, when like the grandmother did him like the bunny costume and stuff. Like, that ain't really what he wanted for Christmas, but he got it anyway.
He got it anyway.
So anyway, yeah, so I'm in London, and this just actually happened last week, because I was over there for 5 days for a crypto conference. And I am staying in one of like the most luxury hotels in the city, which is called the Royal Lancaster. If you are a movie buff, it is the hotel that's in the original Italian Job. So if you know about that movie, I'm a car buff too.
Oh, yeah.
But if you know about that movie, then you know about that hotel. So, you know, I'm excited. I mean, I even watched the Italian Job, you know, before I came out there, just to catch the nostalgia and everything. So I'm on my way to the elevator. I came from going to like a pharmacy place called Boots. So it's like your Rite Aid or CVS or whatever. So I went out there to go pick up something that I needed. And then I came back to the hotel. So I'm like walking to the elevators, and there's this older like white couple, pretty much like he kind of holds like his wife back a little bit. Like he didn't want her to basically hop on the same elevator as me, and looking at me kind of sideways. And I'm looking at you sideways because you don't even have on a mask, right? So this is all these...
Right.
We're in the middle of a pandemic.
We're still in the pandemic, like, right? Exactly.
You look crazy. So anyway, so, you know, so like you have to have your elevator key to swipe it inside to go upstairs. And I'm thinking like any time of the day, by the way. That's the type of hotel this was. You know how like some hotels you check in and like usually at night, like you have to swipe the key to go up to the floors and stuff because it's like, no, all day, 24 hours, you have to have that room key to go up to your floor. So, so I'm like, well, fine by me. I get to ride the elevator by myself.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, like, and you know, and that's why I had like my little IG story rant. And the biggest takeaway from this is that we, as Black and brown people, need to take up space everywhere. I know we like our little trips of where we go, certain places and stuff, you know, and I get it too, because I always like, why are you always going to Miami? Why are you always going to Vegas? Like, I get it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because at the same time, you have to kind of understand why it's like that. Because
Mm-hmm.
for one, you're not going to be exposed to these things, but however, you need to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
We can't just wait until we on Beyonce status to be in these spaces.
That's right.
We can't.
That's right.
Like I don't know if we talked about this
Good.
and stuff, but I also went
Mm-hmm.
to Cognac, France back in August, and
Mm-hmm.
I felt like damn near like a celebrity half the time, because it was like there's really not a lot of people who look like me who's just driving around in like a Benz in Cognac, doing Cognac tasting in France. And
Mm-hmm.
like, it might sound foo-foo, but it's really not, because the more
Yeah.
that we expose ourselves in these
Mm-hmm.
spaces, the more that we let them know that we ain't going nowhere and we deserve
Exactly.
to be in these spaces. Hence
Exactly.
why I'm in tech, honestly.
And that's what I was gonna say. This has opened
For
your
sure.
horizon. I mean, you've always wanted to travel abroad. I mean, from when Francois Jackson,
Yes,
from
Mr.
that
Jackson.
trip, so
Yes.
that was in high school. But
Right.
you've always had that passion to just go overseas, and now you have this job and this platform to take you there. To take you to these wonderful and amazing places that, like you said, a lot of Black people just don't go to or just
That's
wouldn't
right.
think about going to, because we're always thinking about, like you said, Miami or Vegas or Cancun or Jamaica, the Caribbean,
Right.
where people look like us, so we feel more comfortable,
That's
in
right.
those spaces. And I mean, I'm guilty of that because I love me some Jamaica,
Well,
but
me too, though. I mean, but for me, it's like the world is such a beautiful place,
it's,
and I always, and it's also part of the reason why I started Honey Butter, because I was talking to women of color or people of color who were out in like serving in our military
mm, mm,
and stuff, or like the woman who makes my shampoo and conditioner and stuff I talk so highly about.
yeah.
Mika from Grew by Me, amazing shampoo conditioner. Check her out. She's
Okay.
awesome. But like shameless plug. But yeah,
That's all right. Plugger,
but
plugger.
she like hearing these stories and stuff, like, yeah, there needs, when you're in these rural areas, we're sometimes living there for work or whatever
Mm,
the case is and stuff, and like there's our products and stuff for our hair and things and beauty are not accessible out there. So like,
mm,
for me, it's like I love traveling and seeing other people look like me, and if I can strum up a conversation, like, I'll do that, because I'll hear a lot of these things.
yeah.
So it's necessary to be someone that takes up space in these rural areas that are not a lot of us, because
Exactly.
that helps change the game.
Mm,
Like, we can't be in a
yeah.
situation where it's only like Oprah and stuff we see out there and stuff like that.
Mm,
Like, no, man, like we need to do that now.
exactly.
It's so funny, when I went to Cognac, I tagged the location
Hmm.
and I had people message me like,
Hmm.
I didn't even know this was a thing. They didn't even know, like, because Hennessy is from Cognac, like the Cognac
Hmm.
fields and stuff. That's where it's originally from, right?
Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah.
Martell fan myself, by the way, not really a Hennessy fan, but like, but you know what I mean. But like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it felt good just even getting the little like
Mm,
messages and stuff saying like, now I'm more urged or eager to go there. I
mm,
didn't know that you could do that. I didn't know you can do these things. And people
yeah.
who ask me questions like, we need to take up space everywhere. Think about it.
Very-
There is not, especially when you travel international, there is not a
mm,
place you don't go that's not influenced by Black culture.
mm. Say that. Yes.
There's not a place that you don't go in this world that is not
Uh-huh.
influenced by Black culture. So why would you not want to
Period.
be there?
Period.
Why
Yeah.
would you not want to be there to take up space? It's so important.
Hmm.
It's so
Yeah.
important.
It's very important. And thank you
Yeah,
for being that example, to our young girls, to our women, to me, you know what I mean? To be that example, to say, you know what, you can take your career and you can
that's right.
elevate it to the next level. Like you said, you're still working, but you're still developing something that will take you to the next level, you know?
Absolutely.
And I think that's
Girl,
beautiful,
we should
I always
talk
have that
about
side
that
hustle.
too.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
I get the big misconception about, I even have some of my friends and some people who don't understand, I'm not really pumping out a product. I'm creating an app.
Hmm.
And,
Yep.
yeah, shout out to my cousin Chuck who's on here because he's
Oh,
right.
hey, Chuck. We are everywhere.
But,
Yep, we are.
oh, yeah. But
Mm-hmm.
people ask like, why are you still working a 9 to 5? And
Hmm.
because no one is giving Black women funding. Let me tell you something.
Yep.
Women annually, you're looking at maybe 1 to 3% receive funding from VCs.
Mm. And what are VC
Black
for those who don't know?
venture capitalist funds,
Mm-hmm.
pretty much getting funding to basically power your business.
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking at 1 to 3%.
Mm.
Black women, maybe a 0.5%. So for me, I have to continue to elevate in my career so I can power my business.
That's right.
I'm
That's
not just selling goods here. It's
exactly.
if you knew what my developer cost was, you'd be like, Jesus. You understand what
I
I'm
cannot
saying?
imagine. Cannot.
And honestly, like I got it cheaper than what, a lot of people would charge, you
Mm.
know.
Mm.
But people need to understand, like, it also, I look at it as a positive because it's also helped me learn what it is that I need to do to power my business.
That's it.
I
Yeah.
look at even some of the downfalls and the hurdles that I went through in my career as being blessings because I've
Mm-hmm.
learned what to do and what not to do in a business.
That's good. Yeah.
To me, I'm getting free business education without paying for it. Actually, I'm getting
Mm.
paid,
Right.
which is a
For the
blessing.
education. Yeah.
Right.
That's
So,
good.
like,
That's good.
and so I look at these things as being, blessings at the same time. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to continue, and not to mention in the position that I am now, because I am a director,
Mm-hmm.
it actually helps the company that I work for because I'm getting more exposure because I do their like I'm in their newsletters and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I showing up to these conferences and all these things.
Yep.
And, ironically, they support people having their own business, the company
I
that I
love.
work for now.
Mm.
So it is amazing to even find a sense of community in that because we're
Yeah.
forever have to be networking. I don't
Always.
understand why we think that this stops.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get the internship or the job, wherever the case is, like, no, it's a continued thing that you must do.
That's right.
And I love meeting different people from all over for that reason
Mm-hmm.
because I get different perspectives and different tools to help power things
Yeah.
that I'm trying to do in my everyday life, and in this case, in my business.
Exactly.
So, girl, that's just what it's going to be. And I feel like I have the best of both worlds because I make
You do.
a ton of money. I
Mm-hmm.
could pay for my business
Mm-hmm.
and I could still like afford the things that I love to do. And that's
Right.
honestly all because of tech. Hands down, point blank, period.
Such a blessing. And when you talk about networking, I really want our young girls to understand how important that is,
Yes.
especially for us, because we have come into, we're a generation where we have to make sure we're elevating the next person,
That's right.
and I understand that there are some white people out there and some, other people who have allowed people of color to be in that space, but
Mm-hmm.
we have to make sure that we're connecting with each other to make sure we're staying in those spaces, and
That's
elevating
right.
the people in those spaces. So how do you contain your connections? How do you maintain them is what I'm going to say. How do you maintain them, and
Mm.
how do you meet, people? How do you do your networking?
I feel like ever since I started a business,
Mm,
you kind of almost starting out. I don't know about everybody else, but you kind of work off kind of like a barter system almost.
mm-hmm.
And I find that the connections that I have made over time and stuff in my life have helped me, has helped me scale in a lot of ways, has helped me make more cost effective decisions and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have a certain skill or resource, you should use it. And
Yeah.
it's not even about, it could be something that you could use or utilize to basically make money off of. And it can also
Mm-hmm.
be like knowledge. Like
Mm-hmm.
one of my friends that's here with me right now and stuff, she's been such an excellent resource for me
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to just like my social media,
Mm-hmm.
different ideas and stuff to power my business. These tools and the knowledge and stuff that you have, like that sense of community. So it's important to check in every now and then and see how folks is doing, you know.
Yeah.
Genuinely, of course, not to be asking them
Genuine.
stuff.
Right, exactly.
But you
Exactly.
know what I'm trying to
Yes.
say, right?
Oh
And
yeah.
also knowing that, because you and I have talked about this,
Mm-hmm.
you know, having that sense of connection and network
Mm.
also helps you push through the mode of all these things that you mentally are compounded with, the
Yeah.
doubt, the
Yes.
feeling like you're not gonna make it. And I'm talking
Mhm.
this now, and girl tomorrow I'll wake up and be like, is it gonna work out? God, I don't
Right.
even know,
Right.
because this is hard. You know what I'm saying? This is hard
I
right now. Like,
understand.
do I have to go
Yes.
through it like this all the time? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Like, and you
Uh-huh.
know, I'm saying this now, but you know, because that those connections and stuff that I have,
Mhm.
they're only a text or a phone call away. You're
That's
one of
right.
them. You know what I mean? Like, you're
Yeah.
only a text and a phone call away. You know, I tell you all the time, you know, to be completely transparent, I get really hung up on the social media thing. Because every time
Mm-hmm.
I turn around, y'all change the rules. I move the goalposts every 2 minutes. So
Every
you mean to
two.
tell me I can't post 2 times a day anymore? Gotta be
Right.
three? What are we doing?
What are we
Like,
doing?
make it make sense of like
Make
why, you
reels.
know,
People want reels. They don't want, just
girl,
photos. I'm like, okay.
when it started off as a photo app anyway,
Yes, it
right?
started as
All the
a photo.
things.
Mm.
And it's so crazy. But
Right.
that's why with Honey Butter, the tagline or the first sentence of my mission statement is that beauty isn't an algorithm.
Yeah.
You can't expect for me to be empowered or feel empowered
Hmm.
of buying this product when when I'm following 400 people and I see the same thing every
Hmm.
couple of minutes. I was just looking at this person's page. I put the phone down, I pick it
Yeah.
up. It's still the same information, right?
Same.
But to go back on point, like
Hmm.
when these little things and hiccups, when the devil be working, because girl, the devil works everywhere.
All the time, unfortunately.
You need that sense of community and network to kind of help pull you out of this. And the
Yeah.
one thing that I ain't really talked much about that I need to, girl,
Go
if
ahead.
you need to get you some therapy, please get you some therapy.
Please
Get you
do.
some therapy. Do I have to say
Please
it
do
five,
it.
6, 7 times? Get you some
Get it.
therapy,
Get you some therapy.
okay? Because
Absolutely.
when I tell you a
Ab-
lot of the anguish and stuff, especially coming in this field and everything, and
mhm.
the journey and the path I've taken,
Yeah.
you know where we come from. Like, did things
I do.
very non-conventional that a lot of people would
Oh yeah.
frown on.
Right.
Like, oh, like you went to community college, like
Hmm.
you didn't
Hmm.
go here and you
Right.
didn't do that, and you still got this job.
Exactly. You didn't go
Yeah,
straight out
like,
of college. It's like, come on now. I mean, out of high school. Like, come on
all the things, girl. So
now.
like,
Yeah.
the imposter syndrome is real, and the
Mm.
therapy really helped me with that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I please, like, if you're ever looking to, man, the most successful people have. I tell people that all the
Yes.
time now, and I'm so
Yes.
transparent about it now.
Mm.
I'm like, the most
Yep. Me
successful
too.
people have had therapy.
That's
Don't
right.
let don't No one just walk around here perfect, like
Mm.
not dealing with their trauma.
Exactly.
It's gonna come to a head at some point in your life where you
It
have
will.
to deal with it.
You have to.
So why not get ahead of it when you
Hmm.
acknowledge there's a problem here and deal
Hmm.
with it? Go to
Exactly.
therapy.
Because
Yes.
if you don't, then that's one thing me and Lashana had touched on last week. You have
Yeah,
the childhood traumas that can follow you even with your career. Like some
girl.
things you would be triggered by, and you're like, why did that make me so upset? And
Yes.
that's because of maybe something that happened when you were a child in school, in elementary school. And I remember I was talking to mama the other day, and when she was here, my mom, well, my mom,
Yeah, yeah,
everybody,
yes.
like when I'm talking to Keke, I can say that. But
Yes.
and she was telling, she reminded me of me being when we were talking about me being bullied when I was in the second grade. And she
Mm.
was saying how the little girl, Miss Wolfark, told her that the little girl, and I honestly I cannot remember her name to this day. Like, you might remember her, but girl, I guess I just blocked her out, blocked her name. I just remember
That's right.
the incidents, but I just don't remember her.
Right.
But I remember my mom telling me that the little girl, Miss Wolfark told her that the little girl had been abused by her mother's boyfriend, sexually abused by her mother's boyfriend.
What?
So it's just like, again, hurt people,
That's right.
and those childhood traumas, they will come up when you're at work, when you are in your relationships, and especially at work. And I think,
That's right.
one thing that LaShawn also talked about is when we're moody at work, you know, we as Black women, when we're moody, we're looked at as being the angry Black female. When
All the time.
when someone may have said something that triggered something that you just pissed off, you know, now
Mm-hmm,
you just
mm-hmm.
angry. Like, and if you're not going to therapy, you're not able to unpack that. So
That's
going
right.
to therapy really allows you to unpack what you're dealing with in corporate America to this day, because it's so much.
When you hit on such a good point, because we really don't know how we respond to certain things and why
Mhm.
they have been prolonging all this time, even in our adult life.
Yeah.
And shout out to your hubby, because I see he's on
Oh
here and
yeah, I
he made
see
a
that.
good point. There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with you if you go to therapy.
Nothing wrong.
There's
Absolutely.
absolutely nothing wrong
Nothing.
with you. And I noticed
Everything great.
such an amazing shift just in the way I speak and the way I carry myself, because your friends and the people close to you start noticing it too. And
Yeah.
it helps them, and it kind of creates like a domino effect.
Right.
And you
Yep.
don't understand, like, even in your journey can
Mm-hmm.
help others at the same time.
Exactly.
Learning how to be vulnerable and
Mm-hmm.
open
Mm-hmm.
your heart to it, it's so
Yeah.
necessary.
Truly.
You made another point when we're talking about therapy, when you
Mm.
were talking, when your mom made that statement about that classmate and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, when I look at myself, of everything I went through with imposter syndrome, you know, I was talking to my
Mm-hmm.
therapist and I told her, you know, I often at times kind of bottle myself in a little bit, or bottle
Mm-hmm.
up of like how to, like, expressing myself, because I don't want to come off as being too much.
Right.
I don't want to come off as being
Mm-hmm.
like all the things, all the
Yeah.
negative connotations, all the things you can think of wanting to
Yeah.
express
Yeah.
yourself and like celebrate your wins and all these things. And my
Mm-hmm.
therapist told me, like, you know, that is a form of white supremacy, right?
Mm.
Knock me to the floor. And then, of course, she would tell me like 15 minutes before the end of the session, I'm like, so you're going to sit here and make me think about this for two
Right.
weeks. 2 weeks, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Exactly.
bruh, like, don't
Exactly. I
sit
gotta
here
unpack
just
all that.
pondering about it. Like, come on,
Yeah.
man. But
Exactly.
when we got onto it, and I thought about it, she said, think about it, as a woman,
Mm.
you're made to feel like you have to bottle yourself up. You can't dress a certain way. You can't look a certain way. You
Yep.
can't be vocal.
Mm-hmm.
Add a combination of that as a
Yep.
Black woman. No, what you've suffered from your entire life,
Mm-hmm.
feeling like that, and
Yeah.
feeling like you can't celebrate yourself,
Right.
is a form of white supremacy. Knock me to the core, girl.
Absolutely.
Even telling
Absolutely.
the story, I'll just be like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, you know what I mean? Like, it's just
Mm-hmm.
a lot to process. But
It's true.
when I tell you it, it helped me see why I went through so much the way I did from childhood to now. Like
Mm-hmm.
it, like I see why I always had these things that I felt like I couldn't excel.
Mm.
I couldn't be successful in this. I couldn't get the job that I have now. I
Yeah.
couldn't create an app like I'm creating now.
Yeah. Yeah.
All these things, like
Mm-hmm.
even being sitting in this beautiful Airbnb with my friends.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm.
again, please go to therapy. When I tell you, it will
Exactly.
change your life.
It
It will
will.
change your life 10
Truly.
times over, for
Yes.
sure.
And LaShonda is on here. Imposter syndrome will have you out here playing small. And it will. It will have you
Yes,
playing small. I mean, I
yes.
shared a story on my on I shared a post just the other day that, and Keke, you might remember this, but when we were in high school, it was
Mm.
time for us to have, you know, those elections for president, vice president of senior class and everything.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And I did not, and I don't even know if I told you this, but I did not want to say a speech to our senior class, you know, in Rep Arena, because it's thousands of people that come to graduation. So I
Right.
decided to play myself down and just be the vice president instead of the president, because the president always has to give a speech. And I
You
just
never
did
told me that.
not want to do that. Girl, I'm about to cry thinking about it. But yeah, and
Wow.
that's why Dale went ahead and Chris went ahead and they were co-presidents. But even though I did most of the work,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Mm.
But
Oh
I
my
mean,
goodness.
something like that, it will have you thinking less and small of yourself, because
Yes.
early on, my voice was just silence, and now I'm getting out to a point where I really feel like our voices need to be heard on a larger platform. I
Yes.
started a group a few years ago, just encouraging single moms, and that was my platform. But now my life has changed a little bit, and I have to do, I'm doing something just a little bit differently. But I still want to encourage women. That's always a platform that I want to be on, and
Yeah.
to show them that they don't have to, dumb themselves down, which I've done
That's
before,
right.
in
Yes.
relationships and jobs, so they don't think that I know everything, or think that I know everything, or you
And they
understand
make
the
you,
feeling.
and that's so vital because they make you
Yeah.
feel as if when you're in that situation, no
Mm-hmm.
one ever asked anyone in that like there's two people in a relationship, right? No
Yeah.
one ever asked like what part each person played. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
especially the women get a negative rap every time they're in that situation.
Yeah.
You don't know if her husband died
Right.
or something unexpected
You
happened.
don't know what
There's
happened at
a
home.
lot of situations where while that could have happened, other than they
Mm-hmm.
just didn't work out and they separated. And
Yeah.
we don't have the mindset. A lot of people don't
Mm-hmm.
have the mindset to think like that. So
Yeah.
yes, and a lot of times those women will end up being in a situation where they can't find love again. They
Mm-hmm.
can't find um, a partner, or they can't like be successful in the things they're trying to do because it is harder. Yes, granted, being a single mother.
Yeah.
However, there's too
Yeah.
many success stories out here of single mothers out here killing it. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
Black women especially, like
Yeah.
Black women in business has grown exponentially within the last like 2 to 3 years.
Absolutely, we
So
have.
ain't nobody gonna tell me
Yes.
whether you got one or two and you by yourself that you can't be out here killing it. Like
Exactly.
it's
Exactly.
necessary. What
It
you're
is
doing is very
necessary.
vital.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
we can do it. We can do it with the family. We can do it single. We can do it with, if we're taking care of elderly parents, we can still do it.
Yes.
We have to know, first of all, we have to know our capacity, like LaShonda said too,
Girl,
but
come on.
then we have to realize that the sky is literally the limits of what we can do. If God has placed a gift inside of you, a
Mm,
passion inside of you, like Keke early on, and you just flourish in that, and now you're taking it to the next level.
mm-hmm,
That's what we want to see us doing, from an early
mm.
age, and not allow people to dumb us down or make us feel small, or make us feel like we have to be small in our giftings, in our careers. Like
I
we
know
don't
that's
we don't
right.
have to do that. We don't have to do that anymore. Like
My
stop it.
friend who's in the back and stuff, Katie,
Yeah.
she's like, God keeps sending you symbols to quit trying to play it
Hmm.
small, keep
That's right.
to stop trying to play it small and go
Yeah.
big. Like
Go
I
big.
remember when I was going for this job, I wasn't really going for this job.
Mm.
God placed the job on my lap because I still felt that I couldn't be in this position.
My
And
God.
God sent a sign, was like, no, dude, you've been doing project management work for like the
Yeah.
last I don't know how many years. Why are you chasing after a title when you're so much bigger than that? You run
Exactly.
your own company too
Hmm.
at that. You
Hmm.
should be going out here to go and collect your things.
Hmm.
You need to go for things bigger. And
Absolutely.
when I tell you, ever since I've landed in this seat, it's changed. It's changed my life and my perception of like everything that anything I've ever wanted and could do. I feel like God was like, here, I'm just gonna have to push
Yeah.
you out there.
Exactly.
Keep trying to
Exactly.
tell you to listen to me. I'm just gonna just,
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
send your kids to school or something, like just push you out there. You
Hmm.
put the backpack
Push
on,
you out
here you
there.
go. You gotta
That's
go.
right. Giving it
And
to you.
man, like God will send you signs,
Mm.
so many, letting
Yeah.
you know that you're playing small,
Hmm.
letting you know that you're selling yourself short.
Yes.
So take a
Yes.
leap of faith and step out and just do it. And I
Hmm.
look at it, the situation now, even if I fail at this, right?
Yeah.
The fact that God put me in the seat to do it speaks
Hmm.
more volumes than anything. It doesn't
Hmm.
matter what the end result is
That's
because
right.
everything that I've ever gone through in my career has
Hmm.
been what I've used to power into my long term goal, which is my
Yeah.
business, which
Yeah.
is this app, right?
Hmm.
So it's always looking at the glass half full. You know what I mean?
Always.
Like, and I'm awesome, and I don't really care like what anyone else thinks about how I got here.
That's
Because
right.
God knows I'm awesome, and that's really all that matters. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
all
So,
that matters. And I love what you said about, going for what you should have gone
mm-hmm,
for, not necessarily thinking, oh, I just need to take a supervisor role or I need to take a team lead role. Like, no, go for the director role and ask for what you're worth. That
mm-hmm,
is another thing that we don't do as Black women. And even if we do it, we'll take something that we'll take the pay that's less because we want to get the experience, which is fine. But
mm-hmm.
remember your worth. Like,
That's
know
right.
your value. And we don't, of course, we don't get paid enough where
We don't.
we don't get paid enough. But
Mm-hmm,
we still have to know your worth and market yourself that way. Market yourself to say, this is what I have done, this is what I can bring to the table, and this is
mm-hmm,
who I am.
mm-hmm. Absolutely. Someone made a good point just now.
Yes.
Always negotiate. When I sit down at these interview tables,
Always
even
negotiate.
first
Yeah.
off, if I was making 20 grand less in the job that I'm
Mhm.
currently in, when I'm sitting down at the interview table, I am
Mhm.
adding that 20 grand when someone asks me how much I'm making and how much I expect.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. You
Period.
don't go after another situation or a job or wherever the case is, putting
Mhm.
yourself in the same situation, right? So we go and maneuver around and grow in our careers and stuff like that. We still find ourselves like, so we're leaving a situation because we feel like there's a cap here, right? I
Yeah.
can't grow, I can't
Bro.
increase my salary, whatever position
Right.
I'm in,
Mhm.
that's it, right?
Mhm.
But why would you go looking for another job doing the exact same thing that you're currently doing right now? It makes absolutely no sense.
That's right.
And I just like I tell all my friends, or because I help friends with resumes and things like that all the time. I'm
Mhm.
like, why are you waiting for them to put a title on your worth and what you do when
Mm.
you know what you do
Yes.
more than anyone? They
Period.
might not see it, but
Mhm.
at the same time, and you need to start pulling from within all of these things and all these
Mhm.
receipts that you have. So then that way, when it's negotiating time, when they try to put a
Mhm.
blocker up and they try to tell you, like, because they got room in the budget for you.
Yes, they do.
They got room, or else they
Don't let
wouldn't
them
be
tell you they don't.
looking.
Uh-huh.
Exactly, or else they
Yep.
wouldn't be looking for looking for to hire for the role in the first place. So don't let
Yep.
them lie to you. So do
Mhm.
understand that you do have negotiating power to get all of your things.
Yes.
Period.
Period. Go
Mm-hmm.
after what you are worth.
That's
Oh,
right.
thank you, Mama. My mama commented.
Hi.
Your journey is interesting. Thanks for always being there, Shayla. Thank you, Mama.
Yes,
Oh,
of
and the
course.
coffee. Thank you, honey. Yes, the coffee is great. He made me some coffee and brought it over. He's like, "How's that coffee? It's good, thank
Right.
you." But no, you are so right, and thank you so much. Thank you so much for your insight, Keke. As always, I'm just looking at my notes here to make sure we touched on
Yeah.
everything because I know
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
want to get on everything. Um. So okay, at this point, and you may have already shared this, but at this for people who are just joining, at this very moment, what is the most rewarding part of your career, and what is the most challenging part?
Rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for sure, finding myself in spaces or in companies that I never thought that I could be in. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Pushing through that barrier of
Mm-hmm.
thinking that you're not going, like, man, like crypto is such the buzz right now,
It is. Yeah.
and being in this like space is just, and in my position at my level is still crazy to me, but
Yeah.
still just makes me feel like an ultimate badass at the same time, like
You
doing
are.
this,
You are.
just like seeing my name published in like articles and creating articles and stuff for the
Mm-hmm.
company and just being at that face and stuff. And in a negative way, someone could say like, "Oh, but you're the token." I said, "But no. Truth be told, I I ain't new to this. I'm true to this. I've been here before. It
Right.
just took the right company to put me in this driving seat."
Exactly.
So
And somebody
it,
said earlier, you're a whole boss, so just wanted to let you know
okay,
that.
but like it's oh man, like I I cannot express like how amazing it is to be here in this
Hmm.
field and just just even coming full circle after all this time, you and us having a conversation and talking about it, it just means so much to me.
Amazing.
And challenging always is there's still not enough of us. There's still not enough people of color who have top exec positions in the company. You know, all these people last year during George Floyd was talking about how they were going to amplify Black lives and do all of this and donate.
Diversity initiatives and
But girl, when I see the next 10 or 12 hires that come through here and they all look the same, what are we doing here?
What are we doing?
It's not enough. And that is the blessing about being in the position that I'm in now, because now if I send you a referral for somebody, you're actually going to consider it because of the level that I am in the company. It's it's important for us to, going back to what your friend said, to never play small, because you never know who you're going to be able to help along the way when you keep pushing forward through all these hurdles and stuff that we have to go through.
Right.
Excuse me. It's necessary. So, you know, and also from the business side, you know, we didn't get into this, but, you know, I've completely pivoted from talking to VCs. I think we talked about this a while back.
We did. Yeah.
But I feel like I need to share it here because people need to know, like, the recipe to my madness with all this, right? So I pretty much have pivoted away from like pitching to VCs this honey
Venture
butter app
capital.
because for one main reason, ownership.
Yes.
Ownership.
That's true.
Ownership. Ownership. I don't never want to be in a situation with this company where when it goes public and I'm only walking away with 2 to 3% ownership. I need y'all to understand, I don't care how many billions of dollars it ends up being evaluated. Or wherever the case is. It's not enough for me. Right. It's not enough for me. So it's important for me to have as much ownership as possible and for me to launch my app. It's important for me when I do ever consider any type of investment that I come with a list of demands and no one's just telling me what they think I'm worth and giving me that and me accepting that because I'm trying to get an investment. Girl, if I got to continue to work at a 9 to 5 for the next 5 to 10 years for it to pop off, and that's just the way it's going to be. Point blank, period. And it's not, doesn't mean I'm not successful in it, but I just know at the end of the day, when I walk away, when I'm ringing that bell at the NASDAQ, it's all me here. So pivot, that's right. So my pivot is really going, like, pitching the brands to get these brands and stuff to onboard on the platform. That's what I'm really investing more of my time and energy in. Me launching this thing and me creating traction. So no one could say, like, when I'm sitting in front of these as a pre-seed, oh, well, you're only worth, you know, because there's no traction here, right? No. I have receipts. Therefore, I expect X, Y, and Z, or I go talk to somebody else. Point blank, period. So, you know, it's that ownership is key.
It is.
You know, how many of our black hair products, man, that were owned by black and brown people are no longer owned by black and brown people? And we know a few.
Because investors come in, and said, oh, I think you're evaluated at this much. I'll give you $250 for 30% of your company. At that point, you only own 70, and then somebody else is coming. I'll give you $500,000 for 20%.
That's right.
Your percentage is now going down, and that's what people don't understand. Your ownership is also going down.
And then if you don't have anyone on the board who really speaks for you, people are having private conversations behind your back, forcing you out of your company.
And that's what you don't want.
You don't want that. So, like, girl, when I tell you, again, the beauty of being in the tech space already, learning how these things work. So I know what to do and what not to do. So and also coming in with integrity is important for me.
Absolutely.
So if it takes me another 5 or 10 years for it to really blow, I'm cool with that, because then I know I've done everything the way it should be done that's true to me and what I really want. So, that's just what it is at the end of the day.
That's right. Nobody can take that from you. When you own
Exactly.
100% of the company, you can create it to be what you want it to be. Like you said, it's your
Absolutely.
baby. You're birthing it. You're giving labor to it right now.
I
So
know some folks who are like on some of these VC calls that giving them money or some stories, and they're just like, we're here because we're just gonna like take a deep breath and take it all in. And I'm like, as a woman, as a Black woman in tech, I've been doing that for way too long. I damn sure ain't gonna do it in my business.
Right.
We ain't doing that. So,
Yeah.
girl, I'm here for the long haul. All right, we gonna ride
Absolutely.
this thing out. All right.
Absolutely. And that's what I want people to see too. It's not just an overnight success story.
Not at all.
These things are going to build. And when you see Keke another 5-10 years and this app is really popping off, remember that you saw it here first. Okay.
That's right.
You saw it here first.
That's right.
So go follow Honey Butter Co. and just know that she's doing something amazing. Get behind her. If you know some beauty brands you want to suggest to her, send them to her, DM her, put them on her post, do all of the things, because we want to support each other.
That's
we
right.
Want to support one another.
Yeah, I'm looking for brands and stuff that are up and coming.
Yeah.
That might not have pushed the mold and stuff. Kind of like my journey of what I'm doing now, that are making amazing products out here but don't have a household name yet. I want to create a space for them. So please come and DM me, say hi. You can email me at Keke, Keke, at honeybutter.co. You can also find me on here, as you saw in the flyer, honeybutter_co. But yeah, drop a line and stuff. I have a giveaway and stuff I'm announcing that I should announce 2 winners and stuff today, with an amazing brand that I love so much, or shop called Luxury Wellness, who only carry beauty and wellness products from Black women and women. So that's why my skin always beautified.
Glowing.
So yes, I'll be giving out gift cards and stuff for that later today. But yeah, please, drop a line and say hi, and I hope this conversation helps some of y'all for sure.
Yes, me too. And thank you guys for joining us today. We did go over, but thank y'all so much for sticking with us and hanging in there, being interactive. We always love that. And I will post this on my feed, and I'll also have it on my YouTube channel, Puffy Girls Club.
Yes.
So if you guys are looking to go outside of Instagram, it'll be there as well on YouTube. So diversification, don't forget that. And thank you so much. Deodorant on that. I cannot stand him. So my husband
Crazy
said,
part is I can hear him say that.
Right, exactly.
It's so funny.
Oh my gosh. So if you see vibranium deodorant from Black Dad Panther from my husband, no, it's our product. It's our brand.
All right.
I can't.
So funny.
Oh my gosh. Right. Well, on that note, girl, I will talk to you soon. And thank you everyone for joining us today again. Thank you so much. And y'all have a blessed weekend.
Yes. Love you.
All right. Love you, girl. Bye.
Bye.